Hello, I'm Sean the Book Maniac. Welcome back to my channel. Well, updates. I'm just heading out the door, but I thought I'd do a quick update on a late breaking change to my TBR for Read Your Shelves. By the way, this is my daily Read Your Shelves vlog, and I have bailed, sadly, on this my second choice for cover by. The message, boys and girls, is cover buys usually don't work. This was my very first try of a Barbara Comyns novel, Who Was Changed and Who Was Dead. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it at all. It just wasn't my kind of... It had a vaguely what's his name? That auteur that makes those highly stylized movies, something, Wes Anderson, is that his name? I can't even think of the names of any of his films, but I hate them. It's too much atmosphere, not enough humanity. And that's what this was. It was just weirdness for the sake of weirdness. Nothing for me as a reader who is seeking well-drawn characters and at least somebody in a story to root for. There was nothing going on here that was going to hold my interest. So I read 20% of it and I'm done. So to replace it, my last try, I think, because any of the other cover buys in my personal library are too long to try to knock off by the end of the day Thursday, is this one, which I've talked about on a page 112 tag and considered it for novellas in November, or was it Women in Translation, maybe both last year. Carolyn Sanin's novel, The Children. She's a Colombian novelist, and this was translated from the Spanish by Nick Caster. And I did buy it, mostly because of the cover. Isn't that gorgeous? And I have read the first 4 or 5 pages, and I am hooked. It's about a young, I don't know how old the woman, but apparently, so far she seems to be a single woman in Bogota, and this stranger outside the shopping center, outside the grocery store, offers her a young man. I haven't quite got to that part in the story, but the back of it, the blurb says he's a child, a young boy, 6 years old, hands him over to the protagonist, and it's the story of that relationship. I don't know how I'll feel about it ultimately, but I loved the first 4 pages. The writing / translation was really good, so I'm going to give that a go. I used to live on that bento stuff, and now I do all my own cooking. Tonight, yakisoba. Oh my. I think that's all right. Yeah, let's get out of here. Alright, well this has been a boring vlog of a day because I only went out to get those groceries, so I hope that made you excited. I'm gonna make yakisoba tonight. I don't think I care to try to film me cooking yakisoba with one hand, so that would be for another day. I've had a pretty great reading afternoon, very quiet. I don't have anything exciting to tell you other than that I have one more bail, but that's not exciting. That's old hat, right? I bailed today on Don Quixote. I kept up pretty much with the daily schedules, and I thought the first several chapters were laugh out loud funny in places, and then I very quickly grew bored with the whole thing because it's just the same story in every chapter. There was a few tiny little variations, you know, where one chapter is given over to the sad love story of somebody they encounter, but for the most part it's just Don Quixote and Sanchez or Sancho or whoever his goofy sidekick is talking nonsense and then getting badly brutalized by the people that they meet and attack because of Don Quixote's hallucinations. That got very old very quickly. I now understand where the sitcom comes from. Characters that never develop and just react the same way to each ridiculous situation in each and every episode, and so now I understand that and I'm done. I did a fifth of it, 20%, and no, not interesting after about 10%, and I was skimming more and more that this is ridiculous. I'm done. So that happened, and otherwise I don't have exciting news, but I am happy to report that I think it's only a chapter in, or maybe two, I can't remember. This is going very well. I'm really enjoying it. The woman hasn't quite got the boy yet, but she seems like a piece of work too, and I'm loving how her personality is being characterized already. I read another chapter on this. It's not grabbing me, but I'm enjoying it. It's typical kind of a slow Murakami build-up to what the story's actually going to be. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. Oh, there's quite a bit about music. So he was talking about Liszt, and so I was listening to Liszt while I was reading that part. And then this part of the title, South of the Border, comes from a Nat King Cole song. I didn't bother to look that up, but I'm not sure if this is the second part of that lyric or not. But the music, as per usual, has already shown up. This is just still mind-blowingly fantastic and raw. And I love how it's telling the story of how these people, this family and their neighbors, lived through the Holocaust as Corinthian Slovene Austrians, many of whom went to the camps, others of whom fought against the Nazis. Told 20 years later, in and amongst sweet, tender, everyday life experiences. It just is amazing. This one is really great too. I've read... Did I finish that chapter? I didn't finish that chapter. I got caught in the middle of it, but I'm not going to give you a whole song and dance here. But the guy that I talked about in my first vlog the day before yesterday, who died, or who was dying, the main character of that chapter inherits or is given his journals, and that's the rest of the novel. And so I'm reading about this man who died, and it's incredible. I finished maybe the third story or the fourth story in this. I enjoyed it. It was like 3.5 out of 5-star story, but the writing is lovely. And I'm not going to talk at all about this because I've talked too much about Queen Mary, because I think probably 98% of my subscribers are not particularly interested in Queen Mary, but I am absolutely loving this. So that's what's going on. See you tomorrow.